Hello, good morning, dear participants. I welcome you all for this 1 week STTP program scheduled and hosted by Pimpri Chinchwad College of Engineering, Pune. I would like to introduce about our institute. Uh, PCCO is one of the best engineering college in Pune, established in 1999. It is governed and managed by Pimpri Chinchwad Education Trust (PCT). We are running NBA accredited courses, UG courses, and PG courses. We are NBA accredited for UG courses thrice and accredited twice for computer and ENTC branches. We have also received accreditation by NAAC committee with A grade. We are permanently affiliated to SPVU University Pune. We are proud to have certification under ISO 9001:2015, and we are approved by AICTE New Delhi and Government Maharashtra DT Mumbai. For this STTP program, I would like to mention the target audience first of all. This STTP is intended to be attended by technical staff, lab assistants from engineering and polytechnic institutes with ENTC background. The STTP program is also open for ITI and technical schools and fellow technovators. Those who are interested in learning practical electronics, fellow innovator students can also join this session. Looking at the wide audience that we have got, have decided to carry under English and Hindi languages. We will be beginning shortly with our technical staff training program. Till then, I would like to request our head of the department, Dr. M.T. Kolti sir, to kindly address the gathering.
Good morning. I welcome you for this technical staff training program from electronic department. So I'm very much delighted and I'm very much thankful to each and everyone. So almost we got 700 plus entries as a registration, and now I am seeing that 250 plus they join this online courses. Uh, as our Prime Minister, he told uh, that we should be self-reliant. We should be and I think for this self-reliance, the electronic branch, we are having the very much importance for this electronic branch, and that is the one motivation we got that all electronic people, I think all you technical staffs, you are very much experts with the practicals, you are experts with the designing, you are expert with the developing. So we together we can develop sort of the device, sort of the technology, so that we will really become the self-reliance, will become the Atmanirbhar. Okay, so I think the technical staff, that is one of the we can say we can along with the faculty. So they are along with technical faculty. They are always taught the students, but they taught the students the practical views. They are to make to develop the projects for the students. They are here to develop some prototypes here. I think only to work in the college, only for this academics, your role is more important to develop something. Because now there is a lot of scope for the electronics is there, and we are seeing towards you. So we'll have this gathering together to develop some products, to develop some prototypes, and that's why we should be together so that we'll grow together for our nation. I wish a very happy journey together for this technical staff training program. Here we try to elaborate the multiple facilities which are there in our college, as well as which we'll try to elaborate that parts, so that again along with this one, our faculty they will elaborate multiple applications. What type of the multiple application that would be the developed in technical in academic system or academics, so that every every technical staff, they can be a part of this plans, the products or uh, prototypes. So once again, I welcome you all, uh, and we'll hear for the next 6 sessions. And that sessions, these are going to be scattered from basic electronics to the IoT, and we'll see what are the different types of the application can be developed by means of this the instruments or technology which is available in academics. Not only this one. So I say that even though you are supporting this academics for the students projects as well as the student works, but you grow yourself for the your startups, so that you know the basic concept, you know the designing part, you know the testing part. So why you should not think about the startup yourself, isn't it? And I think we together, because all here we got the participation not only from the Maharashtra, we got the participant from the India, as well as we got some participants from the out of India. So together we'll have the group, and then we'll try to develop some sort of the prototypes, some sort of projects, so that we'll deliver it to the companies. Okay, and best wishes from my side. Thank you, and thank you once again joining for this technical staff training program. So stay safe, stay healthy. Now our Dean Academics will elaborate this training program. So hand over to our Dean Academics, Dr. Chopre.
Good morning. Indeed, this is a great pleasure to have the interaction with you. I came to know that more than 700 members are there in this technical staff training program. Friends, PCCOE is working in different way. Where is that difference? The difference is toward the enrichment of the skills. What skills are expected in technical staff? What skills are expected in the faculty? We all are aware about that. In this era, it is the matter of survival for all the technical institutions. Unless we have clear thought about the quality and what inputs we are supposed to give to the students, so that their quality, their skill sets can be improved, we cannot survive. So I believe that, rather PCCOE believes that sharpening of the axe, sharpening of the skills or development of the skills is very, very essential, and it is the need of the hour. Considering these thoughts, we have come up with this 1 week technical staff training program. There are ample opportunities for the teaching faculty to have the training. Many colleges are coming up with the training programs for faculty, but for technical staff, very few are taking initiative, and we have given that proper thought. This is a weekday session, weekday training program, and the contents are properly identified. As an ENTC engineer, we are supposed to deal with equipments. What type of equipments? The series starts from basic, very electrical, our first year equipments, basic equipments, then DSO in the second year, few IoT based devices, then Arduino boards, RF devices, computer nets, and many experimental boards we are coming across. So whenever we are using multimeter, say as an example, so every time because of repetitive use, the calibration is required, and in order to have the calibration, definitely we have to calibrate equipment from the NABL calibration laboratories, isn't it? So similar to the equipment calibration, our skill sets needs to be refreshed, needs to be sharpened. So in this workshop, the experts from different domains were invited, and they will be delivering how the basic equipments, how the maintenance part is taken care, what are the important say aspects for the functioning of the spectrum analyzer DSO. Probably you are aware about that, but as far as maintenance part is concerned, definitely you will find this in workshop very good. Arduino interfacing, then various RF type of devices, then computer network related inputs, then various boards, and practical approaches for maintaining this thing. What is the exact role of the technician, technical staff in the teaching learning? Many times it is said that the technical staff should take part in the experimentation and lab development, etc. But it is true that the technique, apart from that, since it is a matter of survival, so technical staff must take the active part in the product development, in the testing facilities, which may be those services will be rendered to the industries, nearby industries or nearby local requirements, revenue generation type of thoughts, so that the laboratory can be self-sufficient. Obviously, it is along with the faculty team, so it is a teamwork, but the thought must be very clear that our laboratory can be developed by our faculties, our staff working together. So technical product development, experimental setup development, and then selling those experimental setups to the schools and colleges. Likewise, a simple product you can come up. The various challenges are there, and definitely by contributing in this way, you can support the Prime Minister's mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and being a small member of this family in the contribution of this product development or laboratory development, if you can develop the thought process at least and work upon something and come up with some product, we feel that the organization of this technical training program will be a successful one. So I wish all the best to all the faculty staff present in this technical training workshop, and definitely you will have some delta X addition in your skill sets. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chopre, sir. We are delighted to receive your continuous motivation for arrangement of such quality programs. Yes, participants, sorry for the network inconvenience caused to you. Without wasting much of your time, I would move to next agenda, and I will declare that the webinar 1 week HTTP program is about to begin shortly. This will be the content of 6 days program. We will be starting with day 1 as an introduction to DSO and spectrum analyzer. We will be also trying to understand different practical approaches while handling electronic devices. Day 1 session will be delivered by Professor Kapil Kotangade, who is having 10+ years of academic teaching experience and is in PCCOE since 2011. Professor Kotangade has completed his masterate in electronics with specialization under communication engineering domain. I would request Kotangade sir to kindly join with this session. So till then, we will need couple of minutes for initial setup. I request all participants to kindly be patient, and thank you once again for joining this inauguration session. Thank you, dear.
Okay, good morning all. Here today I'm going to demonstrate the DSO working as well as the spectrum analyzer. So first of all, I introduce myself. My name is Kapil Kotangade, working as an assistant professor in BCC College since last 10 years. So in today's session, the agenda of the today's session is the fundamentals and how to use the DSO and the spectrum analyzer for checking analog as well as the digital waveforms. Okay, and after that, on the spectrum analyzer, we will see the spectrum analysis or the spectral component analysis of the one of the modulation signal. Okay, so we will start with the DSO. Am I audible and screen is visible? Anyone can reply?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. So let us start with the operation of the DSO. First of all, here we have the Agilent DSO, which has a configuration 50 megahertz and 1 giga samples per second. So the meaning of these specifications are 50 megahertz means up to 50 megahertz signal that we can observe on the DSO, and the overall sampling rate here it is 1 giga samples per second. Initially, we will start with the DSO nomenclature. So, what is the meaning of exactly DSO? As we know, it is a digital storage oscilloscope. So, it converts the electrical input signal into the visible trace on the screen. Simply, we can say they convert electricity into the light. So, that is the meaning of DSO. So, that is the basic thing of DSO that you have to understand. It will convert any electrical signal into the screen or into the light. After that, the oscilloscope dynamically graphs time varying electrical signal into two dimensions, typically voltage and time. And after that, oscilloscopes are used by engineers and technical to test, verify, and debug the electronic designs. So there are a lot of advantages of DSO over this CRO if you compare with the CRO. So let us start with the panel that we have here. Okay, so this is the overall agenda into today's session. So what is the oscilloscope? Already I have explained in simple manner what is the exactly meaning of the oscilloscope. After that, second point would be the making voltage and timing measurements. Third point is properly scaling waveform on the screen. After that, understanding the oscilloscope triggering point, that is very important point in DSO. And the last one is the oscilloscope theory of operation and performance specifications. So initially, okay, so you can see on PPT, this is the primary oscilloscope controls. So here, these are the sub buttons. We can say this is the main panel. Okay. If you compare with DSO control panel with this CRO, so here we have a trigger. Here we have the vertical section. After that, there is a vertical and horizontal section is there. This is the horizontal position and this is the horizontal scaling, or we can say simple the volt per division knobs and time per division knob. So on a DSO, these two knobs are for these two channels. Whenever you are connecting any signals to adjust the scaling of volt per division, and this is the common button for adjusting the time per division scale. So that is the common knob. You can see here there is a horizontal scaling. That is a seconds per division, or you can say simple time per division, and here it is a volt per division. So these are the main important we can say the buttons, or we say the controls on a DSO panel. Along with this one, we have another panels also. here we have the cursor, after that measurement, after that acquire, after that display utility. So most of the time we use these two buttons, cursor and measures, to analyze any signals. So it is a two-channel DSO. So whenever we are connecting any signal to the first channel, so this is the button that we have to use to set the parameters. Later we will see in the session how do you set the parameters for any signal when you are connecting to channel 1 or either channel 2. So in between this channel 1 and channel 2, there's one button called as a math function. So math function means it's a simply mathematical functions are there, different functions are there. For example, if you want to add two signals, A plus B. For example, the first signal is A and the second signal is B. So what is the operation when we are adding two signals, A plus B? So that result we will get once you use this math function operation. After that, likewise, second operation is there, A minus B, means if you are subtracting any signal from the second signal, so what would be the overall result? So that result also we can see. So simply A minus B, A plus B, A division B, or A multiplied by B. So these are the some mathematical operations that we can see when we will apply two signals simultaneously over here. So along with this mathematical operation, there is an extra operation if you want to analyze any time domain signal into the frequency domain. So on DSO, we can analyze that time domain signal into frequency domain. So along with this mathematical operations in this math function, there is a FFT function. So FFT function means it's a fast Fourier transform function. So once you click on that fast Fourier transform function, we will get the spectral, or we can say simple, the spectrum of that particular signal. So these are the main buttons when we are connecting channel 1 or channel 2. So these are the vertical scaling that we can adjust by using this knob, and this is the volt per division knob for channel 1. As you can see there are two colors, yellow and green color. So when we are connecting any signal to the first channel, so signal would be appear like in the form of yellow color, as you can see here in the PPT. Whereas for differentiating the signals when we are connecting channel 1 or channel 2. So similarly, when we are connecting the signal to the channel 2, so the signal color would be there as a green color, as you can see here. So it is very easy to differentiate between the two channels. Okay, let me know it is okay up to this point, or anyone can reply here if you have any doubt regarding this one. Fine. Okay, so these are the main, we can say the buttons that we should know first of all whenever we are connecting any signal. Okay, along with that, there is one option, there is the auto scale. Here you can see the auto scale button is there. So once you connect any signal, means if you are comparing with the CRO, as we know that when we are connecting any signal to the CRO, manually we have to set the volt per division and the overall voltage level of that particular signal and the time scale of that particular signal, right? But when you are connecting any signal to the DSO, there is a button auto scale. So once you press the auto scale, automatically it will scale both the values. Both the values means on the y-axis the voltage level scaling, and on the x-axis the time scaling. So it will do automatically once you press the auto scale button. After that, when if you want to analyze some parameters, for example, what is the overall voltage level of that signal, or what is the time duration, how much time it requires to generate that signal. So there is a button, there's a measure button. You can see here there's a measure button. So by using this measure button, we can analyze the overall frequency as well as the voltage. Okay. Okay. After that, there is a cursor button. Here you can see there is a cursor button. So if you want to analyze, for example, let us say there is a signal, and if you want to analyze the time duration from this point to this point, so by using this cursor, we can set, or we can analyze how much time it requires to generate 2 cycles or 3 cycles, like that. Okay, so there are two cursors, cursor A and cursor B. In the latter, afterwards we will see how to set that particular cursor. So cursor A and cursor B are there. So by using these two cursors, we can set the volt, or we can analyze the overall time duration as well as the overall voltage level. Okay, so cursor, there are two types of cursor, as I said, cursor A and cursor B. So once you press the cursor, two vertical lines will appear, and if you want to change for to check the voltage level, so that cursor would be there as a horizontal lines, cursor A and cursor B. We will see later, don't worry how that use that particular cursor button. After that, there is a display button. By pressing the display button, this near to the screen, one vertical screen will appear. So there are different parameters. Okay, so that different parameters also we will discuss later. After that, the next button is there. The parameter of the signal. So there is, you can see the numbers here, number 1 and number 2. So once we press here button 1, so again one screen will appear over here with the some parameter of that particular signal. Means if it's AC signal or DC signal, we can set that particular signal. After that, the bandwidth limit. Okay, after that, the probe. Yeah, there is an important point for the DSO. The probe that we are using here, as you can see, there are different types of probe, but along with the DSO, the most common type of probe that is used, that is passive 10:1 voltage driver probe. I'm repeating, the probe that we are using in the, for a DSO to analyze any signals, the particular probe name is the passive 10:1 voltage driver probe. So that is the special type of probe that we use. As you can see on your screen, this is the probe that we are going to, or we are simply using. So this is the specification 10:1 voltage driver probe. That is the name of this particular probe. Okay. Now this is the overall display. The understanding the scope display. As you can see, I have taken some screenshot here. The time domain signal you can see here. So one division here you can see these some dotted lines are there, vertical as well as the horizontal. So it is square box as a considered as a one division. Similarly, for the vertical section also it is a square box as a one division. So one division here for vertical section and one division here for the horizontal section. Already we know this type of activity we did in by handling the CRO. Okay, but here as you know it is a digital storage oscilloscope, so automatically we will get both the values, voltage as well as frequency. But still we should know what is the basic thing that we should know for particular signal when we are analyze voltage level as well as the frequency level. So here you can see here horizontal is equal to what is the scaling 1 microsecond per division. I'm talking about this division, and for vertical section it is again is 1 volt per division. So this square box as a for horizontal it is 1 microsecond per division, and for vertical section it is 1 volt per division. As per these notations, you can see in a red circle box, this is the overall scaling it is mentioned, or simply we know that we have a practice when we are drawing any waveform. So on the topmost right hand part we mention here scale. Okay, while drawing any particular signal on a simple graph paper. So we have a practice, we do the practice, we mention here scale on y-axis and x-axis. So this is the overall scenario. Here on DSO we have this 1 microsecond as you can see here, and here on the red circle there is a channel 1 division per or 1 volt per division. So this is all about the scope display. Okay. Now this making the measurement by virtual estimation. Virtual estimation, as I said on CRO that we do actually. Okay, so that is the peak-to-peak voltage. You can see on CRO we do such type of calculation. We take a peak-to-peak value and multiplying by with the total divisions. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 divisions are there, and this value. So this value into 6. So this is the overall general practice we do while taking the readings from the CRO. Okay, this is the time scale we can see here. By manually that we are using, we consider one cycle here. So you can see here in one cycle how many divisions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 into total number of time, how much time it requires, multiply by with the particular value. So this is the overall explanation, or with the some values it is mentioned how we can measure the overall voltage as well as the frequency. So you can see here the 5 division into 1 microsecond unit is 5 microsecond, and we know the relation between the time and frequency. It is inversely proportional, so it is 5 microsecond. So if you calculate in the form of frequency, so something around 200 kilohertz we will get, and here peak to peak voltage, here 6 division into 1 volt per division is equal to 6 volt peak to peak. So this is the practice generally we do while taking the readings voltage as well as the frequency on CRO. But on DSO, obviously, as I said, these values, frequency as well as the voltage values, we will get directly once you press. There is a button, measure button. Okay, we will see later. how do you get that values, voltage as well as the frequency. So I'm just I'm just giving some basic concept how to calculate manually. First of all, the values of any signal. Values means the two values are important: voltage and frequency for time domain signal. Okay, as I said, there's another button, cursor button. So you can see here, this vertical two bars are there. Okay, so these are the two cursor A and here the cursor B. You can see on the panel here cursor A and this is the cursor B vertical, and horizontal cursors are there simultaneously. You can see here vertical cursor as well as horizontal cursor. So this is the one of the mode, track mode. So once you press the track mode in a cursor, so you will get two vertical bars as well as the two horizontal bars in track mode. But in manual mode, once you press the cursor button, only two vertical or the horizontal cursors we will get. There are two options: manual mode and track mode. So in manual mode, we will get only two bars, cursor A and cursor B. But in track mode, we will get there four. We can see the lines. Okay, two horizontal lines and two vertical lines. So this cursor we use to calculate one cycle time period or the particular time period that we want to calculate. Okay, so it is very much analysis that we can do by using these cursor buttons. So this is all about the cursors. Okay, now this is the overall panel, basic panel that we can say that we use to analyze the signals. Triggering example we will see later. Before that one, we will see here. I'm connecting one signal. So I'm connecting this CRO probe to the channel 2. So I just said for a channel 2 there is a green color. So green color signal would be appear there. So by default, you can see by default there is a probe component is there. One section is there, probe component. So if you want to check any internal signal is there, okay. So there is a one square wave is internally generated. So first of all, we will check that internal signal square wave. So connect one signal, connecting probe, CRO probe to one of the channel. I have connected here to the channel 2. Okay, so once I connected any signal, so you can see, as I said, whenever we are connecting any signal to channel, either channel 1 or channel 2, you have to press auto scale button. So here is the auto scale button. So it will take some 3 to 4 seconds. Okay, now you can see here one square wave is appearing. So I have to adjust some reference level. Yeah. So this is the square wave. You can see the square wave, that is the internal signal. Okay, so there is a point probe component. So I have connected that signal to the second channel. Okay, now as I said, we have to analyze the parameter of that particular signal. Okay, so this is a square wave. So once you press here the measure button. Okay, before that one, right now I have connected one signal over there, but there is a button run and stop. Okay, so once you get any signal on a screen, and if you want to disconnect the channel 2, whatever the channel 2, right now it is 2 volt peak to peak square wave we are getting, but once you press this run and stop button, so it will turn into the red light will glow there, and I'm removing the channel 2 signal. So even though I have removed here the channel 2, still we are getting the signal on the screen. So that is the advantage of DSO, that we can compare with this CRO. That is the major advantage. Without connecting in signal, so it stores that signal in the internal memory. Okay, so without connecting that signal, okay, so we are getting the overall square wave there. So here let us see the parameters that we have to analyze. As I said, is the time domain signal. So obviously the first parameter is peak to peak voltage, and the second parameter is the frequency. Okay, so first of all we have to press here the measure button. So as I said, once we press any button on the panel, so in the overall, on the overall screen, to the right hand side, extreme right hand side of the screen, small vertical screen will appear. Small vertical screen will appear. Okay. So in that vertical screen, remember I have pressed measure button. There is a measurement button. So once you press the measurement button on the right hand most of the screen, one vertical screen will appear. So in that vertical screen, the first part is a source. Source means either channel is connected to signal is connected to channel 1 or channel 2. So we connected the channel we connected the signal to the channel 2, so therefore we have to select the channel 2. But if I change here, instead of channel 2, if you change here channel 1, so we will not get any signal because we did not connect any channel to the signal to the channel 1. Okay, we connected the signal to the channel number 2. Okay, so this is the main thing that we should know. Whatever the signal that we are connecting, either channel 1 or channel 2, so that particular selection of the channel we have to check over here the source. Okay, so I have connected to channel 2, so I have to select here channel 2, then only then the signal will appear on the screen. Okay, now below that source there is a next option, voltage. Okay, so once you press the voltage, okay, to operate this vertical screen parameters, there are these small buttons. You can see here there are the small buttons are here. Okay, so to operate this parameter we have to press the small buttons, not this control panel buttons. Whatever the parameters are appearing on the screen to the right hand side vertical, that parameters we can control by using, or we can use, and for analysis we can use these buttons. Okay, so here for selection of channel 1, channel 2, this button you have to use for selecting of the voltage level. So there are different types of, once you press your voltage by using this button, so there are different parameters are appearing. So first parameter is for voltage is Vmax voltage, what is the maximum voltage of that particular signal. After that, the next one is what is the minimum voltage of that particular signal. Okay, so to adjust vertically or to select the parameters, top side or bottom side, there is a one knob. This knob is there, so we can use this knob to select the parameters. As I said, once you press here voltage, different voltage parameters are appearing. This Vmax is there, V minimum is there, peak to peak voltage, VPP means peak to peak voltage. After that, V top is there. So I want to select here V peak to peak. So I have to move this knob V peak to peak and I have to lock this button. So here peak to peak voltage is appeared right now and it is showing 3 volt peak to peak. For this square wave, it is showing 3 volt peak to peak. Okay. Now I want to analyze what is the frequency of that signal. Okay. So in the same screen below that voltage, there is a time. So corresponding time signal, first time button we have to press. So similarly, once you press the time button, one screen will appear. So in that screen, there are again different parameters of the time related with the time. It's a period, it is a frequency, it's the rise time, it's a fall time. These are the parameters of the time. Okay, but here we want frequency. So I will use this knob and I will lock the frequency. Okay, so as you can see, there are two parameters: peak to peak voltage, frequency. It is a 3 volt peak to peak, and you can see here the frequency is 1 volt kilohertz. Sorry, 1 kilohertz. So the signal that I have connected to the, or in the, we can say the internal signal in this DSO, the parameters of that square wave are peak to peak voltage is 3 volt peak to peak, and the frequency is 1 kilohertz. Simple. So I think it is clear for the measurement part. How do you get the parameters of the signal? So we have to use, again I'm repeating, we have to use this measurement button. Okay, once you press a measurement button, one small window will appear here. Okay, so in that small window, again I'm repeating again, so first part is a channel, the particular channel that we have to select, whether it is connected to channel 1, channel 2. So by using this knob, we can select channel 1, channel 2. Below that one there is a voltage, so by using this button we can select the parameter like a peak to peak voltage. Right now we have selected. Below that one there is a time. Okay, so once you press a time here button, this particular button, we will get the overall frequency. After that, the next screen again is there, but that is the another part, the display, overall display is there, a delay phase is there, setup, counter. But only for the analysis we need these two parameters, voltage and frequency. So remember, once you press the measurement button, so a small window will appear, and in that small window we can use to observe what is the peak to peak voltage and what is the frequency. So this is all about the measurement button. Now let us see the cursor button. Okay, or if you want to remove that screen, vertical screen, so below above that one there is a circular button. Use that button, so screen will appear like this. Now let us see the cursor button. So you can see above the cursor button, sorry, above the measurement button, there is a cursor button. So once you press, simply remember, whatever the button that you will press on the control panel, so one small screen will appear on the right hand side, whatever the button that you will press. Okay, so right now I have pressed here the cursor button. You can see here the cursor. So one window will appear. So this window is now we have. So in the there are mode, manual mode, as I said. There are two mode, manual mode and track mode. Along with that, these two mode, there's an automatic mode. Okay, but generally we use the track manual mode. So first of all, we will see what is the manual mode by pressing the cursor. Okay, so I'm repeating again. I have pressed the cursor. One window is appearing. After that, there's a mode, manual mode, track mode, auto mode. So I'm selecting here manual mode. Okay, so as I said, once you select a manual mode, two vertical bars or two vertical lines are appearing there. Okay, so this is cursor A and this is cursor B. So to adjust the cursor level, we have to use this knob. Okay, now let us see what is the T of time period. What is the T of time period? This is the time per division knob, and these are the volt per division knobs. Okay, so I'm using here time per division knob. So you can see here the scaling of the signal, square wave signal is varying. Okay, yeah. So I want to check what is the T on time period. This is the pulse. This is the T on time period square wave. So obviously here we have T on and this is T off. So I want to check what is the T on time period from this point to this point. So I will set the cursor at this point at the start of that pulse T on time period like this. I will lock that cursor A. After that, I have to select that cursor 2. So you can see by using the same knob, I'm using the same knob for cursor B. Right. So here, once you press that cursor button, so small window is there for cursor A and cursor B. So overall delta X, it is 496 microsecond. Means we can say after putting the cursor A over here and cursor B over here, so total time duration for the T on time period, it is 496 microsecond. So it is 50% duty cycle square wave. So obviously for T of time period also we will get the same time period. Now let us see. Now I will set the cursor to check the T of time period. T of time period. So again same process is there, manual. So already one cursor is here. So only one cursor we have to set over here. Yeah. So again you can see here for the T of time period is the 50%. As I said, it is a 50% duty cycle signal. So for T of time period also it is 496 microsecond. Okay. So for this is T on, this is T off. So we have checked what is the T on time period and what is the T off time period by using this cursor. Okay. Now this is all about to check the time period. If you want to check the voltage level by using the cursor, so what we have to do? We have to just do here. Again, you have to go to the manual mode, and after that, we have to convert that vertical line into horizontal line. Okay. So below that manual mode, there is a time mode. So we have to select that time mode. Okay. So it will change to amplitude mode. Initially it was in time mode, so therefore we got the values of T on and T off. Now we have to check the voltage level. So instead of that time mode, we have to convert into the amplitude mode by using the adjacent button. Okay. So as I press here the amplitude mode, the vertical bars, or we can say the vertical cursor A and cursor B, it goes change to the horizontal lines. Okay. So again the same process, cursor A, I set here at the top side, and the cursor B I have set here at the bottom side. So as you can see already by using that measure button, we know what is the peak to peak value is 3.12. But manually, if you want to check exactly this 3.12 voltage, so by using cursor right now we have checked it is a 3. You can see here it is a small window, so it is 3.12 voltage. So by using cursor we can analyze both the parameters, time as well as the frequency parameters. So this is all about the two knobs that we have seen, that is for measurement and cursor knob. Okay. Now there is a third mode, as I said, track mode. So as you press the track mode, 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines are appearing there. So instead of manual, if I'm putting here this mode into track mode, yeah. So you can see here 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines are there. Just I have to change the scaling here. So here 2 vertical lines, one vertical lines here, both the vertical lines are here. So 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines we will get there. So this is all about the cursor mode and the measurement mode. Okay. Now let us see one analog signal. So I'm using one kit here to analyze the signal. Okay, so right now I have connected signal. As I said, whenever you are connecting any signal, just you have to press your auto scale. So by default, it will scale voltage and time automatically. So both the view of channel 1 and channel 2 are appearing, but I have connected the signal to the channel 2, so I have to turn off the channel 1. So below that voltage division knob, there is a button. As you can see, the numbers are given 1 and 2. You have to press that button so that channel will disappear now. We have to set some parameter. We will scaling the signal at this in proper level. Jump. So it is a current mode. Okay. Now what is meant by the triggering level? Yeah. Now what is meant by the triggering? In the PPT you can see in the first image, the continuous signal is there. Okay. So triggering level means it's simply at which voltage level the signal is starting. Okay. As we know, we are saying the signal voltage level is starting from here. We don't know exactly at which point the signal level is starting. So once you press the triggering point is there. Once you press the triggering point is there. So we will get the exactly sorry, the signal is starting from which voltage level. As you can see, the signal is starting from this voltage level. Okay. So along with that, there is another option, triggering. So triggering point means, simply remember, triggering point means at which voltage level the signal is starting. That we can decide, okay, by using the triggering level or triggering force. Okay, whether, for example, the signal has peak to peak voltage, for example, 5 volt. Okay, so if you want to set the signal will start from 2 volt, or if you want to set signal will start from 3 volt. Okay, so in that case we can use that trigger button. Okay, that is the meaning of trigger button. So by default, trigger location is time 0 on DSO center screen. You can see in that PPT. Okay, so only trigger location on the older analog scopes is equal to left hand side on the screen is there. So this is all about the triggering point, cursor, and measurement that we have discussed. Okay. Now along with this buttons, there are another option is there. As I said, math function is there. Okay. Now let us say the math function here. So once you press the math function, again one window will appear, small window. So in that window, first we can say the mode in that math function is operate. Okay. So it's a mathematical part. So obviously the basic mathematical operations are a plus b, a minus b, a into b, and FFT, fast Fourier transform. Okay, so A plus B. So meaning of A plus B means we can consider A means channel 1 and B means channel 2. Okay, so if I'm connecting channel any signal to the channel 1, okay, and if I'm using this math function, and in that math function if I'm using one of the operation, for example A plus B, so we will get the result. So what is exactly the result when we are adding two signals, or what will be the exactly result when we are subtracting the signal and when we are multiplying the signal? So such type of result we will get on a DSO by using that math function. Okay, and along with that math function, there is another yes, the FFT. Here I am using the FFT. So that is a fast Fourier transform. So here I have to use channel 2. So you can see the overall screen is split into two sub screen. So the topmost screen is time domain signal, is represent the time domain signal, and below that one there's a purple signal. You can see here, that is the spectrum of that particular signal. So here I'm addressing. Yeah. So this is the spectrum. One spike is there. So that spike is nothing but it's a single tone signal. It's a 1 kilohertz signal. Sorry, it is a 1.5 kilohertz signal, analog signal. So it is a single spike is there. You can see the single spike. That the single spectrum component is there. That is 1.56 kilohertz. That is a single spike represent the spectrum of that analog signal. Okay, so by using that math function, we can analyze the time domain signal into the frequency domain also. So that is the use of this math function. So again, if you press the math function, so overall screen window that initially it is split into the two parts, time domain and frequency domain. Now it is in comes into the actual position, that is in time domain. Okay, so this is all about the math function. So along with this cursor, measurement, math function, and trigger point, there is a display. Display is a part of just overall the DSO display. There is a intensity, contrast, such type of parameters are there. There is no need to use that display part. It's just intensity on contrast part that we can set by using that display button. And now after that, along with this important buttons, there is a save and recall button below that time per division knob, save and recall. So let us press that. What happens after pressing that save and recall? So I have pressed here save button. So one window will open. That is small window. As I said earlier, whatever button you will press, one small window will appear. So you can use the waveforms that we can store. Means some information, sorry, waveforms that we analyze, so that the waveform internally we can store here. So let us see one of the, I think there is no internal waveform still now it is stored. There are different options are there. Already if you save some information waveform, so you can recall that waveform over here, whether it is triangular wave uh, or we can say something square wave or some modulated signal. So different type of signal we can save over here, and anytime we can recall by using that save and recall button. Okay, and beside that save and recall, there's a default setup. Means if you don't know exactly अगर कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि exactly कहाँ पे क्या check करना है, so just press default setup. So it will reset the DSO and you will get the proper screen. Right now we have a lot of options are there. So I'm pressing default setup. So it will take 4 to 5 seconds. So overall screen would be blank and it will freshly will open. It will open freshly. So it will take 4 to 5 seconds for the reset. Now let us see what happens. और कभी भी कंफ्यूजन हो गया कि अभी कहाँ कौन सा पैरामीटर कहाँ पे चेक करना है और कैसे लाना है और कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, so just press default setup. It will take 4 to 5 seconds and we will get the proper screen there. So it is taking too much time actually. Now you can see the overall screen is blank. Okay, so same process that we can start from the beginning to analyze the signal. You have to press the auto scale. Right now one signal is connected over here, so I have pressed here auto scale. It will detect the signal. As you can see here, it detected the signal. So signal is connected to the channel 2. Over the channel 2 we are getting signal. Channel 1 is blank, so it is showing blank. Okay, now we know on CRO, along with that YT mode, there is a XY mode. So on XY mode, we know how to analyze the signals. So most of the time on XY mode, we see the Lisa JS pattern. Okay, now let us see some Lisa JS pattern. Okay, so there is one option, horizontal button. Okay, so once you press the horizontal button, again one window will appear. Okay, and there is a function time base. Okay, so in that time base, you can select XY mode and YT mode. Okay, right now it is a YT mode, means volt and time. Now we have to change this time base to the XY mode. Okay, so I have changed here to the XY mode. So you can see here, this is the Lisa JS pattern because I have connected only one signal. So this is the vertical line that we are getting, that is Lisa JS pattern. Okay, just wait, I'm connecting another signal to the channel 1 so that we can see properly here how the Lisa JS patterns are, or we will get here properly. Okay, just remember whenever we are using the XY mode, so we have to use volt per division now. So again, it is YT mode. I have to change to the XY mode. Yeah, it's taking some time. Right now, I'm getting only the signal only for the channel 2. I'm not getting the signal for channel 1. Therefore, we are not getting some Lisa JS pattern properly over here. But keep in mind, to observe the Lisa JS pattern, just press the horizontal button, and we have to change that YT mode to the XY mode. This is the YT mode, and this is the XY mode. That's the XY and YT mode on DSO. So this is all about the basic function of on DSO that we can use. Now let us see one of the signal that we generate in analog communication, that is you might have heard about the amplitude modulation. So in that amplitude modulation, there are three different basic signals that we know. First of all, it's a double sideband full carrier. After that, double sideband suppressed carrier. After that, single sideband suppressed carrier. Okay, so I have a kit here for double sideband suppressed carrier. So let us see double sideband suppressed carrier here, the modulated signal. Give me some time to connect the proper probes here. Yeah, I have connected the DSB-SC signal. I have pressed here auto scale. Now I am adjusting the scale to get a proper scaling of the DSB-SC. Okay, so it is a continuous mode. So you can see here it is a DSP-SC signal. This is a DSP-SC signal. So the double sideband suppressed carrier signal. Okay, so here we have we know that in spectrum the two sidebands, upper sideband and lower sideband. So that signal we will analyze on a spectrum in the later session. So this is the one of the signal that we can see. Now if you want to get the parameters, so again the same process, press the major button. It is connected to the channel 2, so we have to select the channel 2 here. There's a voltage, so press voltage. We want here peak to peak voltage. Here press peak to peak voltage. So after pressing peak to peak voltage, you can see right now it is showing peak to peak voltage 15.1 volt. Okay, so one of the important point that we have to understand here, it is connected to channel 2. So above that one there is a button. You can see here it is 2. It is mentioned that with the number 2. I have to press that one. Okay. So once you press that button, there are different parameters. One of the parameters is the probe. Okay. So in that probe, right now it is showing 15.1 volt peak to peak, but actually the voltage of the signal is not 15.1 volt peak to peak. Okay. Because what happens? The probe attenuation changes to multiply by 10. So it is multiplied by 10. Actually, voltage is 1.1 volt peak to peak. So the probe attenuation is 10x. So therefore, it is multiplied by 10. It is 15.1 volt. So we have to set by default. By default, the probe attenuation it is 1x, or we can say the 1 multiply. Okay. So I'm selecting here 1 multiply. So as I said here 1x. So the actual value now is 1.51 volt peak to peak. Okay. So there is an option. It is very important. Whenever we are connecting a signal, we have to analyze the peak to peak voltage, and if it's showing more voltage, right now it is initially it was showing 15 volt, but we know that we did not apply the 15 volt here at the initial point, means from the key, but still it is showing in the 15.1 volt. So we know that is a too much voltage. So there is a probe. Yeah, there's a probe button. Okay, so by pressing that probe, there are different type of probe attenuations are there. Multiply by 1, multiply by 5, multiply by 10. Right now it is multiply by 1, means actual value is 1.5 volt. If I'm using multiply by 5, so you can see the voltage now it is 7.56 volt peak to peak. Okay, but by default we have to keep that probe to the multiply by 1 value. Multiply by 1 value. Okay, so it is 1.51 1.51 volt peak to peak value. So this is all about the basic operation of the DSO. Up to the parameters are 50 megahertz. Specification is 50 megahertz, 1 gigahertz samples per second. So we can see the signal up to 50 megahertz. Whatever the frequency value is 50 megahertz, up to 50 megahertz we can see. So this is the signal, double sideband suppressed carrier. You can see here double sideband suppressed carrier signal, and it is peak to peak voltage. Now let us see the frequency here. So again press major button. Instead of voltage, below that one there is a time. Press time, and after pressing time there is a frequency. So here we are getting frequency value. Yeah, here we are getting the frequency value. So you can see here the frequency, the overall frequency is something around 1 megahertz that we are getting for this one. 1 megahertz is the carrier frequency, therefore we are getting the 1 megahertz frequency. Okay, so this is running mode. This is stop and run mode. If you want to analyze the signal in a still mode, so you can press this one. So such type of signal will be stopped there like this. Okay, and if you want to analyze in the run mode, so just you have to press the same button. Okay, so for that purpose, one light is given like green light and red light. So I think it is okay for a DSO for basic operation how it works. Now let us discuss some point here regarding the parameters or basic parameters that we can say for a DSO. For example, the waveform is stored. Obviously, the waveform is stored it is in a digital form in DSO. I'm discussing some parameters. For example, power requirement is very low. If you compare with the CRO, the power requirement for the DSO is very low. After that, whatever the images can be displaced, it displays for the infinite time. Okay, so these are the some point that you have to understand. Obviously, the analog signal digitized by using analog to digital converter in DSO. After another point is typically oscilloscope represent here voltage and time. Okay, and the Lissajous pattern helps in the measurement of phase difference. Okay, or to calculate the phase shift between the two, or to calculate the phase shift of the signal. After that, the frequency of one waveform, if the frequency of the other waveform is known. Okay, so such type of parameter we can calculate by using the Lissajous pattern. Okay, welcome back. In the previous session, we have seen, or we have gone through the basic working of DSO, digital storage oscilloscope. One point I would like to mention regarding the DSO there. We know there are different advantages of DSO on a CRO, but along with that, if you want to operate that DSO on your computer panel or in a laptop panel, so you can operate that DSO panel or screen on your computer or laptop. Just you have to install the driver of that particular DSO, and you can operate that DSO from your laptop and desktop. Okay, and you can directly save the waveform, whatever waveform that you will analyze. So you can give the print of that particular waveform from your laptop and desktop. So that is the one point I would like to mention before going to start that spectrum analyzer. Okay, so here let us start with the spectrum analyzer, overall front panel and the basic parameters of the, or we can say the specifications of the spectrum analyzer. So here in our department we have a Regal spectrum analyzer, which has a specification that is we can analyze the spectrum from 9 kilohertz to 1.5 gigahertz. This is the specification of that Regal spectrum analyzer. So as you can see on a PPTs, the overall for front panel. So the basic keys here, you can see here the basic keys. First of all, the frequency, span, and AMPT. So most of the time when we use the spectrum analyzer to analyze any spectrum, so these three keys are very important apart from these other keys: frequency, span, and AMPT. Okay, in the session itself I will discuss how to use this frequency, span, and AMPT most of the time. Okay, so these are the basic keys, therefore the name it is given the basic keys because it used most of the time. Okay, so along with this there are the measurement, advanced measurement keys. Okay, so advanced measurement key, you can see here there's a measurement setup and measurement. Here two keys are there, measurement and measurement setup. Okay, after that there's a master marker key. Sorry, there's marker keys. Okay, means marker keys, why it is a name it is going to marker keys. As we know, let us consider if you want to analyze the amplitude modulated spectrum. Okay, so in amplitude modulation, double sideband, full carrier, there are two sideband, upper sideband, lower sideband. Along with that upper sideband and lower sideband, one frequency component, carrier frequency component is present. Okay, so if you want to mark what is the upper sideband frequency, as you can see in this screen, there are different marks: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are different frequency components are there. Okay, so if you want to mark what is the frequency of this particular frequency component, or what is the frequency of this frequency component, or this frequency component, or this frequency component, so we have to use this marker keys. So there are different markers would appear there: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Okay, and whatever the marks are, the markers are there, the corresponding frequency values we will get here. For example, this 7 marks. What is the 7 mark here? So we can analyze for the 7th mark what is the frequency, exactly frequency of that particular frequency components. Okay, so these are the basic keys that we can use. So marker keys, there are different marker keys. Okay, so there is a marker, after that marker FDN, after that peak value. Fine. Along with this marker, advanced measurement keys, and basic keys, two keys are there which are not mentioned in this particular PPT. I'm reading here. This is the bandwidth detection key, and this is the sweep trigger key. Okay, so this sweep trigger key we use to steal the particular spectrum. Actually, when we connect any signal spectrum to the spectrum analyzer, so it moves continuous mode. Okay, so if you want to steal, or if you want to analyze that particular spectrum in a steal mode, so we can use this buttons. bandwidth and sweep trigger to steal the particular spectrum. Okay. Now, along with that, again there are the sub keys as we have seen in DSO. Whatever the window will appear, measurement window. So if you want to analyze or if you want to adjust the particular parameter for this particular vertical screen. So for this thing again we have to use this sub buttons are there. Okay. So here I'm connecting one signal onto the carrier signal. Okay, so I have connected one carrier signal. So once you connect any signal, as I said in DSO also, once you connect any signal, just you have to press auto button. So there is the auto button. So just now I have pressed the auto button. So by default, the center frequency it will show. Yeah. So after completing the auto tuning, you can see one spectral component. Only one frequency is there. It's a single tone. So only one spectral component is here. That is, you can see here one lobe is there like this. Okay. So the frequency here it is mentioning here center frequency. So exactly of that frequency or a center frequency we can say it is 1.26 megahertz. So that is the frequency of the carrier signal, or we can say the center frequency. Okay, or if you want to set a particular frequency here, we know ki whatever the signal that we are applying to analyze the spectrum of that particular signal. Okay, so as I said, we have to use the basic key first. So the first basic key is here frequency. Okay, so as we press the frequency here, so one window will appear. As we press the frequency, one window will appear here like this. Okay, so here it is mentioned center frequency. As I said on the screen, also it will mention this, what is the exact value. Here also it is mentioning the same value. It's 1.26 megahertz. After that, below that one there is the start frequency. After that there is a stop frequency. Now the meaning of this start frequency and stop frequency, what we can say, it mentions the overall band of that particular signal. Okay, for example, if you are transmitting double sideband full carrier signal, okay, so we know that the upper sideband frequency it is fc plus fm, and for lower sideband frequency it is fc minus fm, or in a simple manner we can say what is the lower cutoff frequency and upper cutoff frequency. Okay, so if you want to set there the lower cutoff frequency, so we have to use this start frequency, means we will enter manually from this particular frequency the band will start, and at the particular frequency the band will stop. Okay, so that is the start frequency and this is the stop frequency. And if you want to set, we know that our center frequency in between 1.2 or 1.5 megahertz, so manually we can enter there. For example, I'm doing here by pressing frequency, and below that one there is a panel. You can see the number panel 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, simple number pad is there. So by using that one, for example, I'm pressing here 1. Okay, so as I'm pressing 1.25, now here there are units gigahertz, megahertz, kilohertz, and hertz. So I have to select here megahertz. So as I said, I have set here 1.25 exactly. So on the screen you can see 1.25 megahertz. The value of the center frequency I have entered manually here. Okay, because we know, means if you know already whatever the frequency, center frequency of the particular signal is 1.25 megahertz. So manually you can enter, or else you can press auto button. Right now I have pressed the auto button. It will detect the center frequency automatically. Now you can see here the exactly center frequency is 1.260333 megahertz. So that is the auto functioning. And if you want to set manually the center frequency, so you have to press the frequency button, and there is a number pad. So by using that number pad, you can enter whatever the center frequency that you know already. Okay, so that is the first basic key as a frequency key. Okay, after that, below that one there is a span. So span word is like simple meaning of span means the duration. Okay. Now let us consider amplitude modulation again. So we know that in amplitude modulation, two sidebands are there, upper sideband and lower sideband, and carrier frequency of course. Okay. So we know the upper cutoff frequency is fc plus fm and the lower cutoff frequency is fc minus fm. Okay. Now span means what is the overall bandwidth of that particular signal. Okay. Now the center frequency is 1.26 megahertz. That is the center frequency. Okay. Now overall span for this one, let us consider the center frequency of the carrier frequency is 1.26 megahertz, and if you are using the some message signal frequency 1 kilohertz. Okay. So the upper cutoff frequency क्या होगा उसमें 1.26 megahertz plus 1 kilohertz. So it is something around 1.27 megahertz होगा. 1.26 plus 1 kilohertz is 1.27 megahertz. Whereas lower cutoff frequency होगी उसकी fc minus fm. So okay, so 1.24 megahertz, that is the frequency of lower sideband and the frequency of upper sideband. So if we calculate the overall bandwidth, so something around 2 kilohertz we will get. Okay, so 2 kilohertz it is span. Okay, so if you want to analyze the frequency component which are present in double sideband full carrier, so frequency component means upper sideband and lower sideband. So the upper sideband और जो lower sideband है जो कौन से कितने span में है 2 kilohertz के span में है, means we calculated value upper cutoff frequency minus lower cutoff frequency, so that value we got here it is 2 kilohertz. So that is 2 kilohertz span. So in that 2 kilohertz span we have to observe that upper cutoff upper sideband and lower sideband. Okay, so once we press the span, as a press here span, so one window will get, so by default it is 100 kilohertz it is showing. Okay, so but what is our span? Our span is only 2 kilohertz. So we have to minimize that 100 kilohertz span into between 2 kilohertz, okay, 2 to 10 kilohertz, so that we can analyze that particular frequency component, because the overall frequency component span is up to 2 kilohertz. So there is one knob, big knob is here. You can see on PPT there is a one big knob. So by using this knob we can minimize the span. As you can see, the spectrum span also reducing like this. So right now the span, actually span it is 13.14 kilohertz. So I'm setting up to 5 kilohertz. Okay, but still here only one frequency component is we are getting. Why? Because only carrier signal is there, so obviously it is a single tone, so one frequency component that we are getting. Okay, so right now I'm connecting double sideband suppressed carrier. So just give me some time, 1 or 2 minutes. So I have connected here double sideband suppressed carrier, means only upper sideband and lower sideband you will get here. So as I connected double sideband suppressed carrier, so again I have to place here the auto function. So it will detect the center frequency first. So again the center frequency is 1.258 megahertz. Okay, now I'm pressing a span. So as I'm pressing a span, we have to analyze here upper sideband and lower sideband frequency component. Okay, so I have to minimize that 100 kilohertz span into 5 to 10 kilohertz span, so that we can see properly here upper sideband and lower sideband. Yeah, these are the harmonics. This is the upper sideband and this is the lower sideband. On the screen you can see this is the upper sideband and this is the lower sideband. So these two frequency components that we are getting. Now here you have to understand why we are minimizing the span. As I said, the span means it's the bandwidth of that particular signal. So here I have connected double sideband suppressed carrier signal. So by calculating theoretically the bandwidth of that double sideband suppressed carrier, it comes 2 kilohertz. So if you are using a 100 kilohertz span, so it is very difficult to get that less span 2 kilohertz for getting in 100 kilohertz. Okay, so I have minimized the 100 kilohertz span into the what is the span here? Right now it is 10 kilohertz. So in 10 kilohertz span, I can easily observe the frequency component which are from FC minus FM at up to FC plus FM, that is 2 kilohertz. So it is upper sideband, this is lower sideband. These are the two frequency components of double sideband suppressed carrier. Because frequency components get suppressed, so it is attenuated. So this is attenuation part of the carrier frequency, and these are the harmonics. Okay, so this is the span to observe first of all the particular spectrum. After that, we have to analyze the parameters. Obviously, just observing the spectrum it is not sufficient. After getting the particular spectrum, we have to analyze the parameter. Okay, so spectrum, why we analyze the spectrum, we should know how much power it requires to transfer that particular signal. Okay, so such type of information that we get by analyzing the spectrum means how much power it requires. Power means there is upper sideband, there is a lower sideband. So how much power it required to transmit this upper sideband, how much power it requires to transmit this lower sideband. So overall power we have to calculate. Obviously, theoretically we can calculate, and on a spectrum analyzer we can cross check here exactly how much power is required. Okay, so for that purpose there is a AMPT, the three basic signal, keys, frequency, span. After that, below span there is a AMPT. So once we press the AMPT, again one window will appear. So first point is first parameter is the auto scale. After that, reference level, input attenuation, scaling per division, scale type, units. Okay, so here the parameter that we need here, units. So by default you can see by default the unit is dBm. So there are different units to calculate the power. Okay, so once we press the unit, the first unit is dBm. We can calculate the power in dBm. After that, dB millivolt. After that, dB microvolt, volt, and watts. So generally we analyze the power level in watts. So I will select here watt. So I have selected the watt as a power unit. Okay, so once you set the just to wait, now I'm adjusting here the overall power level, spectrum. Yeah, so by default the unit is watt, but I have to stop this running mode spectrum, okay, of double sideband suppressed carrier. So for that purpose I have to press here sweep trigger. Okay, so once we press here sweep trigger button, there is a mode. You can see here there is a mode, single mode and continued mode. So right now it is continued mode, therefore the spectrum is moving like this continuously. But I have to check exactly what is the power level over here. So I will select here single mode. So corresponding button you have to use. So as I use the single mode, you can see now the spectrum is stopped now. It is not in a running mode. Okay, means continuous mode. So I am I have stopped the spectrum here. Now I will use one marker. Okay, so another option you can see on a PPT, the marker keys here. Okay, so I'm using the basic marker key, that is marker. So one marker will appear like this here. Okay, you can see the point 1. Okay, so by using this knob again, if I'm putting marker over here at the top side of that upper sideband, so you can see the frequency here is 1.26199 megahertz. So I'm moving that knob to the lower sideband now. So the marker will appear like this. So for that purpose, you have to use the same knob, this one, to the clockwise or anti-clockwise. You have to move. Yeah. So you can see it is 1.258 megahertz, because the carrier, if you compare the carrier frequency and the message signal frequency, so it is very much difference is there. Okay, carrier frequency is 1.25 megahertz, and whereas the message signal frequency is 1 kilohertz. Okay, so only 1 kilohertz difference is there, but actually overall frequency we are getting in megahertz. Okay, so that calculation part, how do you get the particular upper sideband frequency and lower sideband frequency? Okay, manually. But if you want to check on a spectrum, so use this marker and put at the top side of every peak. Means the peak of this lower sideband, so you can see 1.258 megahertz, and if I'm putting this marker to the upper sideband like this here, so this particular frequency we will get 1.27 something around, frequency megahertz we will get here. Okay. Now below that one, there is a power level. You can see here 197.2 microwatt. That is the upper sideband power in microwatt. Okay. Now let us see what is the overall power level for the upper sideband. So same power we will get like 193.22 microwatt. Okay, so if you are adding this power, whatever the power level for we are getting over here and what are the power level we are getting over here, if you are adding both the power level, so this is the total power required to transmit this particular double sideband suppressed carrier signal. So this is all about the basic parameter, power level, or we can say the frequency components that we can analyze by using this spectrum analyzer. Okay, so just remember, spectrum analyzer, in this Regal spectrum analyzer, these three keys are very important to handle this spectrum analyzer: frequency, span, and AMPT. Frequency, first now we have to use to identify what is the center frequency of that particular spectrum. Okay, once you know the spectrum center frequency of that particular spectrum, it is very easy to get upper cutoff frequency as well as the lower cutoff frequency. So once you get the upper cutoff frequency, lower cutoff frequency, and to get the spectral component on visible on a screen, we have to adjust the span. So as I said, based on the bandwidth of that particular signal, according to that we can adjust the span. Okay, by default it is 100 megahertz. So if it is less than, very much less than 100 megahertz bandwidth of the particular signal, so we can reduce that span. जब तक दिखता नहीं तब तक reduce करो आप, you will get the spikes there. After that, AMPT knob is there, power level as well as the amplitude level or the frequency that we can analyze by using this AMPT knob. Okay, so remember these three keys are very important in spectrum analyzer: frequency, span, and AMPT. Okay, and obviously whenever we are connecting any spectrum over here, okay, so it is by default it is continuous mode, but we want a steal mode. So for that purpose we have to use that sweep trigger button. Okay, at particular which trigger, as I said during the DSO session, at which voltage level that we have to start this trigger the signal. So in this case, at which power level we have to start the signal, that is the meaning. So okay, so in that sweep trigger, again I'm pressing here, I'm showing again sweep trigger. After pressing sweep trigger, there is a mode, continuous mode and single mode. Right now it is single mode. Now I'm changing to continuous mode. Okay, so here you can see the spectral components are moving because it is in continuous mode. Okay, so if I'm selecting a single mode, now it is stopped. So that is the sweep trigger mode to adjust the or to steal the or to constant the particular spectrum here. So this is all about the spectrum analyzer. Here you can analyze the various spectral components, whatever the modulation technique that we are using. So to analyze the spectral components, to calculate the overall power transmission, how much power is required to transmit a particular signal. Okay, so that is very important. What are the spectral components are there? Means spectral components means whatever the bands are there. So in particular, the spectral components, what is the exact frequency values of that spectral components that we can get from the spectrum analyzer. So there are many uses of the spectrum analyzers. If you are designing any antenna, so to calculate the overall radiation pattern, okay, so or to overall this bandwidth of that particular this transmit ho sakta hai, what the power level will require. So such a parameter we can analyze by using this spectrum analyzer. I hope it is it's okay for the spectrum analyzers, so that we can analyze the very simple signals by calculating some overall power as well as the frequency components.